And Trisha, I'm assuming you're going to take care of letting everybody in.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the Idaho STEM Ecosystem Educator Preparation and Support Working Groups webinar that we are calling AI plus Idaho Educators. And this is an AI tools demo. Um, if you may recall, some of you, that in January we did a similar kind of panel webinar that was an introduction to AI for Idaho educators. And when we talk about Idaho educators, we're talking about formal educators and informal educators. I know we have a lot of librarians on the call today, so this sort of includes everybody who's in any type of education space. My name is Jennifer Redford. I'm a youth services consultant at the Idaho Commission for Libraries. And for the past few years, I've been facilitating the meetings of our working group, which is focused on helping prepare Idaho's formal and informal educators in the area of STEM. And in the past year or so, we've been really homed in on AI and how we can support learning about AI since it's like a fire hose out there. Everything is coming at us all the time. And so we're just a group of folks from around the state who work in different areas who are in a position to support Idaho educators in different ways. So for today, we are going to have our panelists talk a little bit about and demonstrate for you different AI tools that they use. And I forgot to ask, Trisha, would you mind making our panelists hosts so that the co-hosts so that they can share? Um, so I'm going to have each of the panelists introduce themselves really quickly, and then we'll dive into um, their demos. And then we will have some time at the end for you to ask questions. And please do use the chat if you have questions. Again, this is being recorded. We will upload the recording to the Ecosystems YouTube channel and share that out on the Ecosystems community platform. And then we will share it out on other communication channels as well, like listservs and newsletters and things like that. So with that, I would like to introduce our panelists. I'm going to call on each of them and ask them to share their name, their role, and where they work, and just a brief overview of how they got started with AI and what they're doing now. So, Nicole, can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Nicole Sardi. I teach fifth grade at Galileo with West Data Schools. And I started with technology and AI a long time ago, and then AI specifically the last couple of years because I just recently finished my doctorate in educational technology through Boise State. And through that, of course, it's ed tech, and AI was a big thing. And I was a co-author on a paper and then part of our district's AI workforce group to see how we can implement AI. So it's just kind of has snowballed into all kinds of fun stuff.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. And Nicole will be demonstrating Magic School for us in just a moment. Next up is Brendan Bobby from the East Bonner Library. Brendan, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got started with AI and what you're doing?
Well, you already got my name and my where I'm at. So I'm Brendan Bobby. I am from the East Bonner County Library up in Bonner County. I'm the STEM coordinator for our library across the district. I do coding classes, 3D design, which is primarily what I'm going to be focused on using Trellis today. It's a fun program that can convert a 2D image into a 3D model that you can then edit with programs like Tinkercad or Blender. It's not perfect, as we've seen with most AI, but you'll see for yourself.
Thanks, Brendan. And I'm really excited to see a tool that uses AI with images because I think we all know a lot about ChatGPT and some of the text uses for AI, but haven't heard a whole lot about any of those visual tools. So pretty excited about that. Kaylin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Kaylin Cottle, and I was a former middle school teacher where I taught computer science and started with AI through a program at ISTE, the ISTE General Motors AI Explorations. I think that was 2018, 2019, something like that. And I've had the opportunity to teach AI to middle school students. I retired in 2024 and went to work for ISU. So now I'm teaching teachers.
And Kaylin's big summer has included lots of homework if you want to know how her retirement is going, and she's loved every minute of it. Awesome. And Kaylin's going to demo a tool called Playlab for us, which is very exciting. Our fourth presenter is she actually couldn't be here today. She's Debbie Meisner, also from the West Ada School District, and she did record a video for us. So in her video, she's going to talk about a tool from Learning Blade, which is a great partner in this technology space for Idaho educators. And then Lauren Duras is on the call from Learning Blade, and she will also be talking about that. Lauren, do you just want to introduce yourself really quickly to the group?
Yeah, of course. My name is Lauren Duras. I'm the state manager for Learning Blade in Idaho. Learning Blade is a great tool. It's provided for free, and I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. About my background, I worked on the CLSD grant for the Federal Department of Education prior to this role. And then before that, I was in the classroom for 10 years. So this is my third school year out of the classroom. So I'm excited to talk with you all tonight.
Yeah, that's exciting. Um, so we will go ahead and dive in. Our format today is pretty straightforward. Each of our presenters is going to take around 10 minutes to do a demo of their tool and tell us a little bit about it. Um, we, uh, we will have question and answer time after all four have wrapped up. But if you do want to put a question in the chat, we can try to address those if they're timely. Otherwise, we will just save questions for the end and leave lots of space for you to ask your questions. I did want to mention that we have enabled transcriptions, so if that is a feature that you need, go ahead and use that and let us know if you need anything else in the chat. Otherwise, let's move forward with Nicole and Magic School. Show us the magic, Nicole.
Okay, if I am correct, you should all be seeing my screen. And nope, I didn't get it right, did I?
I can see you.
You can see me, I didn't on the other one. There it is. Okay, yep, I didn't hit share. Okay, awesome. So my screen sharing, now you can see Magic School?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So when you go into Magic School, and I had mentioned earlier that I was part of a work group that decided which tool we were going to use. So we piloted a lot of different ones, and then our district decided on Magic School. And when you come up, there's just a ton of different tools. I'm specifically going to look at the chat with Raina. And one of the reasons I like this one is because we can just differentiate, and I can just tell Raina what it is that I want. So I teach fifth grade, so I'm going to ask for, and being a fifth grade teacher, I have to write in complete sentences and all of that. And we know that when using any chat GPT or any type of AI, the better questions you ask, the better information you're going to get. So can I have differentiated lesson, or I want projects actually, I don't want lessons, real world projects. You're all going to see how terrible I type when people are watching. For fifth graders on, actually I want to say involving decimals. Oh, no, sorry. Our next one is going to be place value and powers of 10. And then it's going to go ahead and generate 3 differentiated projects, and they're real world projects. I can go through them, I can look at them. But what I really want to do right now, and it's going to ask me another question, prepare worksheets or visual aids. So I don't really want worksheets, but what I would like a rubric for each of these projects. And that's going to be my rubric. And when it generates the rubric, it's actually going to give me a 4-point rubric. And initially when I was using these, it was giving me a 3-point rubric, and then I would have to say, oh, wait, no, I want a 4-point rubric. And so then it would go back and do a rubric. I love the question that it asked me before then when I was trying these out was, do you want to put it into kids terms? So if I look up here, it's just telling me a rubric as if I was grading it. So what I want to do is say, can I, or wait, can you kid-friendly terms? And then you'll see how it changes. And it's telling the students then, so I can just copy these and I can give these to the kids because it's going to tell them what it is for each of the projects, if how they know what they're doing. What do they do? They're almost there. And it's also going to give me extra little questions if I just am not getting what I want. What I really like about this is I can share this. So I work with a team of 3 other teachers and then our GT teacher. And so what I did with these then questions is I exported it, and we're Microsoft School, so I exported it to Microsoft Word. It's going to ask me if I want just a selected resource or a full thread. The full thread is going to give me everything that I was putting in along with any suggestions. So I'm going to go ahead and export this. It automatically opens either in an open or a save as, but I'm just going to have it open. Can you still see that? Okay, good. So now I have a Word document where I can, if I want to go ahead and I can enable the editing and make any changes to this Word document. And it everything that I have. So really when I'm in Magic School, I'm just kind of brainstorming and getting ideas and going from there. And then if I want to share this with anybody, I can share this, and we can, as a team, we can really look at these projects. So this is one activity that I've been using this year for the a number of times because we're trying to do more project-based with our differentiated when we're trying to level out kids. And so this is what we're looking at here. Another tool that I really enjoy with Magic School, and let me go back to not the student tools, my teacher tools in my collection, is our choice board. And the choice board, because I can adjust this to be 5th grade and ask for, let's see, I have activities that involve decimals and Minecraft. And when I then it's going to generate different activities. And I used this a number of times last year when I had a sub, because I would just take whatever we were working on in class and put in a choice board. So it's activities. So whether it was Minecraft or Scratch or Legos, and then I would take our content that we'd already covered in class. And this way with my substitutes they were doing things that the kids already had access to and they could monitor, but yet I knew that the activities that they were doing weren't just things that I was going to kind of push off to the side when I came back because I really didn't need them. They were still good activities that the kids were responsible for. And once again, because I love rubrics, please give me a rubric for these activities. And it's going to give a rubric, which is amazing because within 10 minutes, I have activities for my students. I have sub-plans that could, not entirely sub-plans, but these are all things that they have access to. And that's activities that my kids can do that's keeping them working on curriculum appropriate activities. So love it. That's Magic School. Those are the easy things. It can generate emails and all of that, but those are the areas that I use it most for.
Thanks, Nicole. It sounds like you're using Magic School to kind of cut down on some of the busy work time of typing out things.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily taking the place of the like what you're trying to do or the curriculum or anything. It's
No,
just
it is a
yeah.
supplement, and I love it as a tool to supplement what I'm already doing in my classroom because I love, the kids need to have hands-on. They need to be doing things. I need to be working with them as a teacher, but yet then I can also give my students who have finished, and they understand what we're doing, and these are then their additional activities that they can still be working on the content, but it's taking them past. And with those differentiated ones, my higher kids can work with some higher projects, some higher activities, and then my other kids they're still doing projects but yet they're working at just different levels. So that's where I like the any AI program that's going to do this too. It just makes it I have more availability to me, and that's what I enjoy.
Yeah, more time with your students to do some
Yes.
of that one-on-one
Yeah.
relationship
And
building.
I don't have to think about, oh, okay, this is a really cool activity, but how do I differentiate it? I don't have to think about it anymore because Magic School takes care of it.
Yeah, I can see how something like that would be helpful in a non-school setting in like a
Mhm.
library when we see for lots of library programs, you'll have older and younger siblings come and being able to scale your program plan up or down based on you. Sometimes you don't know who's going to come in the building.
Yeah.
So having all of that kind of planning work offloaded is nice. How long did it take you to figure out the best like phrasing for your chatbot there?
Um, actually, so if when you're looking at it, it does have, just sample questions.
Mhm.
And now this is I know Magic School does have a free version. This is actually our district has provided this version, so I'm not sure exactly what's free and what's not free, but it asks questions and it will just kind of go through what would be a better question to ask. So it's helping me when I'm asking things. But a lot of times I'm just like, I kind of wanted this, or I want you to fix this. And truly, last year was the first year we really used Magic School full, and things, it's not as difficult. But have used other AI programs, and so the more you do, the more you
Yeah,
learn, the better
practice.
you get.
Okay, well, thanks, Nicole, and thanks for sharing Magic School with us. That was really interesting. And now we're going to move on to Brendan. Brendan, tell us about Trellis. I'm so excited to learn about this.
So, a little background, we do have 3D design programs at our library that I've been running. Trellis is not a great introductory tool. You don't want this to be their first experience into 3D design, or they'll feel like they can just shortcut everything. They'll hit a brick wall because AI makes those weird sort of like nightmare fever dream images, which you'll probably see where it's just not quite right, little uncanny valley. So what we try to do is we try to build a good foundation in something like Tinkercad or Blender first so that they know how to manipulate 3D objects and fix what's called artifacting, which we'll see shortly. So we want to make sure that I'm only showing this to students who've been here for 3 or 4 times once they've kind of understood the program. Then they're really excited to explore this because they can translate a drawing into something more. So let me share my screen here. There are a number of tools called Trellis that are related to AI. As far as I'm aware, this is the only one that's actually free. So you can actually go to GitHub. You can install it primarily on Linux, but there is a way to install it on Windows that's more involved. There are guides for it on YouTube. If you're not very techy, the best thing to do is just go straight to demo, unless my browser freezes at the most inopportune time, as it so would. So maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Hopefully you can see the URL so you can actually explore it on your own. Maybe. Okay. Well, that's really unfortunate. My apologies. Let's try to refresh. Maybe it's the whole browser. Take two. Okay, let's try this again. So this is the demo page for Trellis. I already got an image earlier that I downloaded, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. Go ahead and grab this cute little leopard gecko right here. Open that up. So what it did is it figured out how to get rid of the background. It does that automatically. And then I've just got that cute little image there, and I'm going to generate and extract GLB, and it will apparently have an error because it exceeded the amount of requests that I've had. That's really unfortunate. You can probably demo this pretty easily on your side just by copying the URL that I have up there. But we did do this with a little crocodile that we made several months ago. I don't think I still have it, but you can import it onto Tinkercad, which I've got right here. Log in here. And I might still have him. His name was Chompy. We 3D printed him one day. Kids really loved him. It was really interesting for them to see something from AI come to life through our 3D printers. Which I probably don't have him on here, but that's okay. Some of our projects that we've designed for challenges for our students. Yeah, Chompy. Let's see. Tinker this. So essentially, with Trellis, when Trellis does work, as it didn't today, you'd be able to extract the GLB, which is a 3D file. You'd be able to feed it into a program called a GLB to STL converter, which you can find for free just with a quick Google search. Then you would go into Tinkercad right here. So I have to do an import, choose a file, and then you just have to find it within, mine would be downloads. So this is one that I did a couple of days ago. I have no idea what this is, so bear with me. And I did not have the foresight to bring a mouse out here, so bear with me here as I navigate with a trackpad. I'm sure we've all been there. Technical difficulties abound. Why am I not surprised? So, let's delete everything here. Try this again. Import. See, this is the side of things that presenters never show you. They never show you when everything goes wrong and how to fix it. And that's a really important skill to have. There it is. It's really, really, really small. It's like some sort of bunny or something. So this was actually generated through Trellis. It was an image that I found on Google. And scale it. So as you can see right here, this is something called artifacting. It's something that the AI detected and generated, but it's not supposed to be there. So we try to teach our students how to get rid of that through Tinkercad, which would be essentially just creating a hole, lining it up just how you want it, and then merging the two objects together. In this case, you're going to see that it's just going to cut away a huge part of the model, which is fine because it's just a demo. But students that are really keen would be able to line up objects right along here and delete the specific artifact without losing the rest of the model. And then they can just end up exporting this as an STL file, downloading it as normal, and then they can put it through a slicer for either submitting to the library's 3D printer or taking it home and using their own 3D printer. And then they have an object that they would have initially drawn, taken a picture of, fed into Trellis, and then modified with a 3D design program, and then brought back into the physical world as a 3D object, which I think is pretty amazing. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have on that for the most part. It's a fun little tool for sure. It is not going to fix all of our woes when it comes to 3D design because 3D design is fairly complicated at times, but it's a great way for kids to learn, and it's a great way for students that are a little unfamiliar with computers to be able to grow their skill sets a little bit more quickly and be inspired to bring something to life really fast.
Brendan, I love this concept because I feel like, especially when 3D printers were new, sort of the promise was that you could take something in your mind and print it out. And this is a way to give kids the agency and the ability to take something they can draw on a piece of paper or some art that they create digitally and make it into their own 3D rendering and make a model of it and really make their creativity and what's in their minds come to life. Have you had any kids who have like done that and like had this idea and they created it and were able to print it?
Haven't printed it yet. They did have the idea. They drew it, took a picture of it, put it through Trellis, and they were like, oh, that's really cool. Anyway, I'm off to the next thing. But still, that's a lot farther than most people get. We did discover there are phone cameras are really good for the high contrast of the images because Trellis does like high contrast. And we've also discovered, I think it was called Trace. I'll have to look it up, but there's a program called Trace where it's essentially this little frame and you put a picture under the frame, take a picture of the frame, and through some sort of techno wizardry I don't understand, it converts that into it's a vector-based file, so it's able to really easily extract the image from the background, and then you can put it into a CAD program directly. So it's even easier for kids or adults to make their design. And there's also 3D scanning programs that you can find on your phone now. I think one's called Unreal Scan, and it's from Epic. They're the same ones who did like Unreal Tournament and Unreal Engine, which is a huge game engine, multi-billion-dollar asset. But you can actually scan items with your phone by just going around it, and it's actually quite accurate. So you can even skip the taking the picture part, just scan the 3D object and put it straight into Trellis or Blender or Tinkercad and just go from there. It's getting so much easier. You don't have to code everything now.
That's really cool. I remember somebody used to hack like Xbox sensor things back when like the Wii was new and the like motion detection was new.
Hmm.
And you would like have to sit really still and have the Xbox thing like go around you, and that would be the like image creation.
Hmm.
And now we can just do it on our phones. That's amazing.
Yeah, you can even put it into Scratch for anyone who's using Scratch for coding programs. You can essentially apply all of this to Scratch because I believe that Tinkercad will also take screenshots. So if you do a 3D model, you can take screenshots of it from different angles or manipulate certain parts of the model and then import that screenshot as a sprite into Scratch, which we've had a few kids just go crazy for.
Great. Thank you, Brendan, for sharing as much as you can. I think we're all jealous of the garden that you're in right now. It looks
Lovely.
like it's a beautiful day where you're at.
It's an Arizona summer up here for sure, and I wore black, so yay.
All right, let's move on to Kaylin. Kaylin, tell us about Playlab.
So, Playlab is a place where you can go in and build your own AI tools, and you don't have to have coding capabilities to do this. And so, I'll show you. I'm putting in the chat one of the ones that I built, and then I'm going to show you behind the scene of the one that I built. This one is for assessments, alternative assessments. So if an instructor wanted to create alternative assessments for a particular lesson or unit, this is a tool that they can do. So I'm going to go to share and okay, you're seeing my screen okay? Good. So the name of this one is the Alternative Assessment Architect, a Cognitive Studio. And what you're seeing is the way that you would enter into it, and you would click on Start. It is a chat bot that I would be able to see everything that you do when you're interacting with it. And just like Dr. Sardi was talking about, your prompting, the better your prompts, the better your results. So this particular one, I'm trying to get to the DOK levels, so the depth of knowledge levels, and it's going to ask me questions and it's going to guide me through this. Give you just a couple of seconds, and maybe I want you to try on the link that I put into the chat. I want you to get started with the app and give it a try as I go in and start the edit mode. So in edit mode, I'm showing you how I built this. I'm using Claude Sonnet as my engine behind the scene, but I can choose from any of these. I can use Claude, Anthropic Claude, I can use DeepSeek, I can use Gemini, I can use GPT, I can use Llama from Meta, and I get to decide how much I want the AI to be creative. And I've got this one set pretty low. I only want like a 20%, but I, with just a click, can go in here and I can change it. I think the default is pretty high at 70%, so that gives a lot of leeway to the AI, and I'm more about control and keeping it to my resources. And what I mean by that is over on the right hand side, you can see my references. And if I click on the references for you, you can see what I'm asking the AI to access in order to interact in this chat mode with me. So I have the Bloom's Taxonomy Revisited, and all of the resources that I have added in are OER, Open Education Resources, things that I had access to import. I have some OER textbook on assessment. I have standards that I'm aligning it to. I have the computer science standards. I can change this very easily. I can just go in and add a reference using the blue box here, or I can go over and I can delete this reference. I can pin a reference to the top to where that's the main thing that it is using to create its interactions with you. Then the next couple of pieces here is the memory. So how much is it going to remember when you're using the AI tool? But another wonder that I really like is the assistant tool here. So when I'm building or when I'm remixing using the Playlab, I can have the assistant walk me through and say, well, have you thought about this with your tool? And I can ask it all kinds of questions about, well, what is the difference between DOK and Bloom's taxonomy? Or what are the different levels of DOK, and how does that look if I'm doing an alternative assessment? So I can ask it questions and it's going to help me with that. This settings button, when you very first logged in, you saw this question here, this welcome screen question. I can edit that and adjust it for how I want my user to interact with my tool. I can rename it easily right here. My little box thing is in the way. I can give it a better description, be more clear in my description with it. And then inputs. Over on the inputs, I can go and change how the user is interacting, whether you're giving it short text or long text or drop downs or even file uploads. So this is the way that it was built over here without any code. It was all done just with conversation. And then when I'm ready to publish it, I just hit the publish button and then it makes it available for everyone. I'm not going to do that because you guys have been in this one. And so I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you what that looks like now when somebody has been using your tool. I need to get back to the chat box. Hold on just a second and click on my link. And this is just one, oops. This is just one of the apps that I've built. I've built about 5 or 6 now. Come on. Okay, I got locked out of that. I'm going to go back into Playlab. I'm with you, Brennan. Once in a while, technology is not our best friends. Yes, Vanessa. Exactly right. I am going to stop sharing for just a second and go back in and show you one of my other apps and then see if I can get back to that one.
I played around a little on it, Kaylin, while you were talking.
So tell me about your play. What did you learn?
I have a second grader who is beginning of the school year. He just started second grade, and that's really important time for assessing reading where he's at, right? It's really critical in the second grade. So I just put in just like and I would like as a parent, I'm like, I kind of want to know what he's being assessed on and what his teacher is looking for so that I can support him at the beginning of the year. So I said, just give me a second grade, give me an assessment for second grade reading. I kept it super basic. And then it prompted me to like, is this a formative assessment or a summative assessment? And it gave me little definitions for those. And is this a student who you have data on already or no data? And new student, first day of school, want to know where he's at. And are there focus areas like reading fluency, vocabulary, or specific areas you want to know about? And any other considerations or accessibility or differentiation that you would need. And so it prompted me to give it more information. And so I kind of, I was Nicole, I was not good and did not write complete sentences. And I just like
You
wrote
did
some,
not have to either.
no. And so I said I wanted a formative assessment for a new student at the beginning for second grade reading fluency. Like I gave it a little bit more, and it gave me a breakdown of targeted standards and skills. The words per minute that he should be reading, reading with appropriate expression and phrasing, sight word recognition, decoding skills. So this was really great to like tell me right away like the things I need to be assessed or the things that the teacher is probably assessing because obviously I'm not a teacher.
Right.
But yeah,
Do
it
you
spit
see
that out right
yourself as a
away.
parent maybe using this?
That would be, yeah. Yeah. Because, you know,
Oh,
as a
cool.
parent, you sometimes get these letters home and you're like, your child might need more support in this area. And you're like, how did they find that out? What are they looking at? And this just gives you a little bit more information. So I thought it was pretty easy to use. I love the idea that you can create your own um, environment for the AI, though, and create your own chatbot, or that you can be in a kind of enclosed area for the information.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I really like about it because a lot of the AI tools that we see out there, and we especially saw that just recently with the chat with OpenAI's release of the 5, you don't know what data it was trained on. In this way, we're controlling the data that it's trained on, and we're controlling how much it's being creative with that data. And that's what I really like about the Playlab. And Playlab is a nonprofit, and they're trying to make sure that we are creating an environment that every voice is heard. So one of the ways that I very first learned about Playlab was through Indigitize, and that is a group that is using Playlab with the indigenous populations and trying to make sure that those tools are good tools for those students. So thank you, Katie. I appreciate you putting that up there. So that's the very first way that I got involved with Playlab. In another, I won't even go show you the other tool. I'll just tell you real quickly another one of the ones that I built. It is a chat bot for future educators. So at ISU, we are creating future educator clubs, and there are only 3 of us that are trying to service a lot of people. And so I put together several resources, a handbook that I did through OER, a advisor's handbook through OER, and a few other OER resources. And now those students can go and learn about what is the future of education look like? What does it look like becoming a teacher, and get feedback? And then they can come to us now with specific questions after they've interacted with the chatbot.
Cool. Well, thanks, Kaylin. Okay, we have one more tool that we want to show you. And again, unfortunately, Debbie Meissner from West Ada School District was not able to join us today. So I'm going to quickly share the video that she sent. And I do want to give you a heads up that I have been on a few Zooms this week and have noticed that there's at least 1 or 2 people on the Zoom who can't see the video or can't hear the video, and everybody else on the Zoom doesn't have the problem. So I suspect that there is a bug somewhere in Zoom that may keep somebody on this Zoom from being able to fully watch this video. And it will be recorded and it will be in the recording, so have no worries. And I apologize in advance if you cannot see the next 4 minutes of the video. Okay. So, video sharing. Okay.
Hi, my name is Debbie Meissner. I am a middle school teacher at Lewis and Clark Middle School in Meridian, Idaho. I taught careers last year for the very first time. I was extremely overwhelmed at the very beginning. I was not sure what I was going to do. I wasn't sure how to do it. I saw the standards, I read the standards, but my big thing was, okay, so now what? So I refer to Next Steps Idaho and Pathful and Learning Blade as instructed in the resources section within our scope and sequence. When I saw Next Steps Idaho, something was missing from my classroom environment. So then I went off to Pathful. Pathful added some more of the information I was missing from my classroom environment. But I was still missing that engagement piece, that hands-on learning that my students expect in this classroom environment. So when I went to Learning Blade, it was the most amazing thing ever. I had an opportunity to share with my students not only options for the different types of career paths that were available, but what type of learning that they can come across when it came to getting their hands dirty, digging in a little deeper. So when we worked on Learning Blade, students had an opportunity to choose a different type of mission challenge. And so the dolphin rescue was one of the favorites. So students had an opportunity to do the various tools that you see here. The artificial limbs was one of the absolute favorites. Students enjoyed looking at the different types of teammates that were available, so they were able to piggyback. I did not assign a specific mission to my students. I gave them the opportunity to go and search for something that made them want to learn more. I wanted them to have the aha moments because our learning environment, I'm not a big on note taking. I want to see the kids learn as they go. They are excited to demonstrate what they've learned on their own and taking that ownership of their learning. I feel they give me so much more of themselves. So it was an amazing resource for our classroom environment. I absolutely loved seeing students having that, oh my gosh, I messed up. How can I fix it? I was like, okay, well, let's see. What kind of materials do you have available? What consumables can you use? What kind of tools do you have available that'll help you out? Have you talked to a peer? Have you talked to a classmate? Have you done some research? How can you fix the problem that you ran into? And them being able to do that on their own gave me such joy. It made my teacher heart so happy because like, hey, this is working. This is what I want my environment to look like. So thank you, Learning Blade, for encouraging my students to be all they can be in this learning environment. I appreciate it.
Okay, so that's a little bit about one of the things that Learning Blade can do. Lauren, can you tell us a little bit more about how in Learning Blade and AI intersect?
Yes, absolutely. So, like Debbie was mentioning, we do have the 13 missions, and the missions are all wonderful and great, and they're aligned to the academic content standards and all of those good things. But we wanted to share about our Introduction to AI module. So, our Introduction to AI module is a tool that your students would use to learn about what AI is. Here, we're teaching them how it works, where it came from, what different modes it has, things like that. We also talk about how it's impacting the workplace here, where it's taking us in the future, and different aspects of AI ethics. The really neat part about this particular module is that it only takes about 2 to 3 hours, and it's just a really nice introduction to your students about AI, and it really serves that purpose. We're not getting into AI tools. We're not talking about using 3D printing and CAD software and pulling all those pieces together. We're laying a foundation here of how to use AI terminology and where it came from, the big impacts of it, and things like that. So it's a really neat resource to use in the classroom because it's broken down into 10-minute lessons that you don't have to actually teach as the teacher, like we do it for you. They're great substitute plans, they're great early finishers, bell ringers. It asks questions. They have to answer questions as they go through things. You can see one of them here. We talk about AI in healthcare a lot in this module. And then it's just a really easy tool to use in your classroom. It has read aloud features. We talk about all of the vocabulary words and things like that, especially if you are teaching a computer science class or anything in that space. Or if you're an ELA teacher and want your students to be able to understand why they can't just copy their writing prompt and put it into ChatGPT and then produce a piece of work and then call it their own, right? So we talk about all of that within our AI ethics section here. And like I mentioned, these are all broken down into those 10-minute lessons. And then to kind of go on what Brendan was talking about with being really creative with AI, we do talk about using some of these image generation tools and how they work. And then we even get into like those deep fakes, things that you swear are real, but really are not. I don't know if y'all have tried to get haircuts recently, but I was looking at pictures on Pinterest of haircuts, and I'm looking at these people and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. And then I was like, these are fake people, like completely not real. But those types of things, right? When we're looking at images and figuring out what's real and what's not. And in here, we also talk about really solving problems with AI. And it's a really neat module to go through. And we talk about Amazon Web Services. We talk about IBM Watson in here, the Google Cloud. We talk about different AI services that are available and just really creating a solid foundation for the students. and where it's taking us in the future, impacting the workforce, all that stuff. And we've got some really nice feedback from teachers that once their students have gone through this module, they have been able to engage with really thoughtful conversations about AI, not, what every student thinks they already know about AI, but about some actual research-backed information that they can then, apply those vocabulary terms and really participate in discussions of what AI can look like and then ethical ways to use AI in the classroom. And then to kind of go with all of that, we also have offline resources. They're offline, but they're actually online because they're AI modules. But these are resources that are activities that you can do with your students in the classroom. We have a 3D printing activity that did sound pretty similar to what Brendan was talking about with Trellis, where we use auto draw. The students can draw whatever they want. They pick from like an AI generated image from their drawing, and then they can actually print it out. We also talk about designing web layouts using 3D or using AI here, which is pretty cool because they actually have to do research on something that their organization needs or their community needs, and then they build a website based off of that using AI. So those are pretty cool. So all free resources. Learning Blade's completely free. We're fully funded in Idaho. We're on year 2 of a 3-year contract through the Idaho STEM Action Center. So shout out to Katie because we love her. Yeah, it's totally free. We're aligned to all the academic content standards, the computer science standards, and all those good things. So let me know if anybody's interested. And we also offer free professional development and support to all of our educators as well. But yeah, that is the Learning Blade gist. Please let me know if you guys have any questions.
That's really cool, Lauren. And I can see how maybe some adults might want to do that course as well.
Yes, absolutely. I've gone through it about 3 times now, and I learned something new every single time. It is really remarkable how neat it is to go through it. But if you want to get started with your free account, just head to learningblade.com/ID and get started.
Awesome. Okay. Phew. That has been a lot. We have learned about Magic School, which was really cool, and we saw how Nicole, Dr. Sarti, so exciting, helps build lesson plans and activities for her students using Magic School. Brendan showed us the possibility of kids bringing their creations to life through AI and images using Trellis. Kaylin talked about how she created her own AI environment using Playlab, and I tried it out. It was really cool. And then Lauren talked about how we can help young learners, or any learners really, understand the basics of AI and get that foundational knowledge so that they can go on and be competent digital citizens and engage in the new world. So we have 5 minutes left, and that is plenty of time for questions. Go ahead and unmute if you have a question and raise your hand if you want to, or put it in the chat. The floor is yours.
Just in case not everyone can see it, Diane did put a question in the chat, which Lauren already answered. But for those who work in libraries and not actual schools, can we get accounts with Learning Blade? And yes, you can.
And honestly, I would encourage you to. We have a lot of really cool offline activities that involve like engineering, design, problem solving. You're building things with your hands. You're taking into social needs of your communities and then responding based on that. Yes, Diane, just select my district is not shown, and then you'll have to put in an address and information about your organization. But absolutely.
Exciting. And yes, thank you also to the STEM Action Center for sponsoring that great tool for everybody in Idaho. Yes, thank you tons. Is anybody inspired to try AI in a different way or try one of these new tools? One of the reasons that our group wanted to do the webinar that we did in January and the one today was to demystify AI, make it more accessible for everybody. Everybody who was a panelist today started out not knowing very much about AI and just dove in and tried it out and has really learned a lot. And brought all their knowledge to you, but the technology's at a place where it really is where you really can just play around with it and learn a lot. So go forth and learn, my friends.
Hey, Jennifer, can I share one thing real quick?
Please do, Katie.
Okay, thanks. So the Idaho STEM Action Center, in partnership with Idaho Department of Education, we actually have an upcoming training in October around AI. And Kaywin and Dr. Sari Nicole are both actually going to be supporting this training as well. So if you want to spend more time with either of them, I'm going to drop it in the chat. It's actually kind of registration for two things. The first day is a focus on AI. The second day is a focus on a curricular resource called Code Hop that Department of Ed has purchased for schools. You can register for one day or both days. And so if you're in a classroom and you want exposure to both opportunities, just register for both. If you're in an out of school space or a space where maybe the AI training is the only thing that's helpful for you, feel free to just register for that one and ignore the questions about Code Hop. We will cover travel and subs and to your closest location. And so if you're interested in getting a little bit more, doing a little bit more of a deep dive, I'd encourage you to come and hang out with us those days.
Thank you. That's a great opportunity. And that reminded me that tomorrow the Idaho Commission for Libraries is doing it's called All About AI Virtual Workshop. And they're going to do a Zoom like this, but they're going to send people to breakout rooms to actually try out AI on the Zoom. It is ambitious. I'm going because I can't wait to see it. Here's the link if anybody wants to register for that one. I'm not sure if it's going to be recorded because there is going to be like breakout rooms where people are trying out things, but um, you got a little taste of it today. Go ahead and kick the tires on the AI tomorrow. And sign up for Katie's stuff too. That sounds great. We have come to the end of our hour. So if you do have any questions that come up, feel free to reach out to me or Trisha, and we can pass those along to our panelists. Thanks everybody for your engagement and your interest. And thanks to our panelists for sharing their knowledge and experience. We really appreciate it. Have a great day. Now we do the Zoom wave.